And we're back.
And we are back. Welcome, everybody. This is Coach's Corner. I'm Coach Linden, and this is
Coach Debbie here.
So we have been doing this for a little bit now. So this is Coach's Corner, where we cover all things related to space. Maybe share a little bit about what we are learning, share some lessons. You know, the whole nine. We just sit, we converse, and hopefully you all get something from this. We've been told that you do, so we've continued to do this, knowing that it gives back to all of you. So hopefully you get something from it. I have no topics today.
All right.
I've
lead
I've
this
got
one.
nothing. Yeah.
It's about time.
It's about time.
I was waiting for you to run out of topics.
Yeah.
I got a backlog. All right, so let's talk about.
All right, go ahead.
Let's talk about some of the concepts that we go over in training here and how they apply to life outside of the gym.
Okay.
I think a lot of the things that we say here, the things we're trying to get into your mind, don't just help you in the movements that we do here, but also translate. At least for me, they translate to time outside of the gym. One that comes to mind off rip is time under tension.
Okay.
So we do a lot of work, a lot of tut work, and
Tutankhamun.
the concept is keeping your body under tension for a period of time to actually enact some change. I think that's a powerful concept, just going into life, into mental, into relationships, into jobs, whatever it is. There is a point in which it seems too much. You know, it seems like you're not going to be able to make it through. And having the mental fortitude to push through that moment on the other side of it is always something that's worth striving for. It's really what you're looking for most of the time. Being able to persist, being able to stay in uncomfortability for a period of time that you thought wasn't possible is transformative. That's what I got to say on that. What do you have to say about that?
He said that's it.
Snap and clap.
When it comes to time under tension, I'm sure we've all heard phrases like pressure creates diamonds. I'm sure we've all heard phrases like applying pressure, right? Like things that allow you, again, there is something to be said about maintaining enough pressure for change. Tut is a concept where you stay under pressure long enough to facilitate change. And it's funny because I think a lot of people, without realizing it, like anyone who comes into space, they're looking to take their life off of, let's call it easy mode, right? You're not here for me to be your friend. You're not here to get to know me personally. You're usually here for something you need, right? Like maybe on the surface level, you came here because you thought I was a nice guy, right? But what ends up happening is at one point or another, you gotta kind of face you, what brought you to this door for real. And I like to think time under tension is a relative concept and part of the reason why I got into fitness in the first place. You know, I think I've told my story a couple different times, but I've always wanted to be my kid's superhero. So one of the things that looks like is being infallible, right? Like being the guy who doesn't break, the guy who doesn't quit, the guy who can persevere and push, the guy who sticks to his morals and integrity and values at all times, no matter how hard it is. And I think I've done a decent job embodying that, right? So when I hear time under tension, and when people see me, I hope that they see the result of time under tension. But time under tension in of itself is applying enough pressure to facilitate change. That's true. And again, that's what we're all here for.
Yeah, and it's synonyms. I think the last podcast we were talking about forging a sword and what it takes, and how heat needs to be applied
before you can change it. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
I think we're 100%. Talking the same concept. It's like you are forging yourself.
Well, what makes it funny is because you have to realize where that tension is, right? Like in training, the concept of time under tension Like today, we actually we did one of my favorite moves in fitness, which is the Turkish get up.
The hardest.
Yeah, and I like that move because it doesn't matter who you are, where you start, what you're capable of. This move can and will transform your life if you keep at it. But there's two things that are required, right? The ability to persist and the ability to be consistent. You cannot get better at Turkish get-ups by not doing Turkish get-ups, right? So today we added, we do this every once in a while, we'll add water to a cup and then give it to someone to put on a fist. And it's so funny because it goes back to what you're saying. Time under tension, like most people will literally give you excuses before they even attempt. They'll doubt themselves, they'll say what they can't do. And then what's interesting about all of that, and I'm thinking of two people in particular today, once they stop doubting and just let the tension do what it does, they end up actually succeeding.
Yeah.
Right? It's not it's a funny concept because that's actually what got me into training. I was looking for my win, right? Like life felt like so many losses, one after another. I mean, so many, just stacked on top of another. And then I realized the reason I kept failing was because I kept backing out. I kept running from it, right? I didn't spend enough time in it to allow it to change me, right? So I think that's what, that's where fitness does apply to life. It allows you to realize that pressure doesn't it doesn't destroy you, right? Enough pressure applied can actually change you. So.
And I think something powerful about what you were saying is everyone made the excuses, everyone had, their doubts, and that stuff came up before they started, right?
Right.
And that's important too, like Mary Poppins, right?
That was good.
Shout out to Mary Poppins.
Shout out to Margie.
Shout out Marjorie.
Margie be dropping gems. I don't know if she knows. I assume you know.
Yeah, you know.
But I don't know if she knows, but you be dropping gems, and I appreciate the wisdom for sure.
The Mary Poppins quote was, half of the job is starting.
No, if you start a job, it's already halfway done.
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, that's
you got it.
That's
verbatim over here.
Yeah,
all right.
Well, that's because I'm a student of life, right? And because I'm a student of life, like I really am. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the sharpest guy in the room. I'm not that, right? I think a lot of people think I am.
Depends on the room.
Just because but like a lot of people think I started there, like it was just something that I had. But like a lot of who I am today is not natural. A lot of it is work over time under tension, right? Showing up every day at the gym sharpened my mind, right? Sometimes I laugh because I would stare at that gym bag. I would look at my clock. I would roll over and be like, I don't need to go today. I failed probably about a good 2 years of my fitness journey at the beginning. And people don't know that. People just think, oh yeah, you probably just showed up one day and you just got it. No, I wasn't an athlete. I was your average person who had literally shattered their wrist and had no other choice, right? And again, every day was harder than the last. When you first start, it feels impossible. But we got here, and we got here via our effort. So Margie is absolutely correct, which is why I love that quote, and that's why it sticks out to me, because there were plenty of times where I doubted that, and then I would show up to the gym, put in half-ass effort, and still feel better, right? Like I accomplished something. I got out of bed today. See, my win was never the workout. My win was breaking the habit of staying home, or matter of fact, waking up on time. Like there was always some win that I wasn't paying attention to because the pressure in my head was in another space. But really, again, what was the thing stopping me? Getting out the door. Waking up in the morning. Fair. So a lot of people don't attribute those things as part of the journey. Yeah. Margie's saying once you get up, you're already halfway there. So,
and I think that is a good truth for the community in general. It's like we're all born with gifts. But if you see someone performing at a high level, whatever it is that they're doing,
ask them about it.
It's always more
ask them about
failure
it.
than you're giving credit for, because it's easier to not start your journey and instead make the excuse that someone was born with it, or they just have like that proclivity to it. They're a savant. Like, yes, you can be born with a gift, but honing that gift is the name of the game. So finding your gift, and then time under tension, to actually get to that level that you want to be at, where you see other people perform and you're like, wow, that's crazy. I don't think I could ever do that. You can.
Right.
It's just going to take time under tension.
A lot of people aren't really paying attention to what it takes or requires to be better, right? They want this magical fix, and that's what they're being sold in a lot of spaces and places. But the name of this space is getting it daily. If you don't show up every single day for yourself, then the magic will never happen in your life. When we first started, I used to say there's magic in these walls, and people would be like, ha ha ha, until they started seeing people change and heal, and then they were like, there's something to what you're saying. And I was like, yeah, there's the daily effort that culminates into your miracle. Like, that's what it is. So the time under tension, it doesn't break you. It just makes you better. Example is running for me. I've been running for like a year now, year and a half, about a year. And I've had so many setbacks, it's crazy. I got my knee busted up right now. There's so many things that can happen. And when I started at anywhere between 23 to 25 minutes a mile. It was agonizing and embarrassing and frustrating to get out there and realize that even though I had all this strength and could move all this weight on a bar, that I couldn't move my body at a decent pace for time. I was like, man, I got no control over my facility. So I think I'm thinking about what Alicia said. She was like, I gotta be a student all over again. I learned to love that shit, man.
Always.
I learned to love that. Like,
if anyone can see this, you probably can't. I'm gonna get up in a second. So let's see if that focus. That's my tattoo. That's Latin. It means always a student, or knowledge forever flowing inward.
yeah,
So I do love that shit too.
it's one of those things where, like, people who aren't curious about life literally miss the purpose. If you're not curious about life, you miss the purpose of life in and of itself. Life itself is to help others, dog. Like, and again, I can't help people with what I don't have knowledge on. You get what I'm saying? So I have to apply pressure to self in order to gain said knowledge. I can't being the smartest dude in the room is trash to me. Right? I don't ever want to be the most in shape, the most out of, again, that's not a good room for me unless I'm leading. Then at that point, it's a decent room, right? Like, I want people to give me things I don't have in the rooms I am. In this community, we've been blessed with that. So, and I should probably have brought that full circle. I did start off running 23 to 25 minutes, but now we're running anywhere close to subpar 9 minutes miles.
Oh, you're running 9-minute mile?
Yeah, I'm like super close to be yeah. I can run a 6-minute pace. I just can't hold it. Yeah, I can't hold it for that long.
Yeah, holding 6 minutes.
That's rough. That is rough. But even the fact that I can talk about that over a year, so many shoes bought, so many tracks run, so many miles put in. I think I got close to, within this last year, I'm gonna say about close to 400 miles under my belt with running. And again, people don't realize that there's that saying, right? And this is a time under tension. To be a master, you need how many hours?
Isn't it 10,000 hours?
I think it's 10,000.
10,000 hours,
right?
yeah.
Like, to be considered a true master, you need to have 10,000 hours. And
so.
like, you don't give it credit. People don't give themselves credit along the journey. Like, you've come so far. Again, we hear these things all the time. The pressure feels like it's gonna break you, so you're willing to, like, you're like, I'll quit, right? I've been there. I think Coach Dev has been there. It's not to break you. It's to help forge you anew, right? There might be some breaking in the process. Fair. There definitely might be some breaking in the process, but it'll be of things that you never wanted in the first place, in my opinion. When you're doing things positive for yourself, the negative is just a wash away, right? So the tension breaks the pieces that can't go with you, right? So that's what I was thinking of when I was looking at it.
That's tough.
Right? So there's nothing, again, pressure is not bad. Tension isn't bad. How you use the tension is what makes it bad or not. And that's why I believe everybody should resistance train. That's my thing. Anything else?
I mean, I got topics, yo.
Yeah.
I got topics.
All right, let's shoot for 10 more. What you got?
All right, we got one more.
Yeah, 10 more minutes.
Another thing that I've been thinking about is this concept of, I've met a lot of people, and I've been in a spot in my life where I was like at my rock bottom, right? And I was like, you know, really understand why I'm here. I don't really understand what's the point of it all. I kind of don't want to be here. You know, those thoughts I'm sure come up for everyone, you know, and to varying degrees on different spectrums. And I'm realizing now that during those times, I kind of felt like I wanted to die, right? And the actual, when I dig deep into it, the actual thought process is unconsciously, I knew a piece of me had to die. You know, I'm not getting what I want out of life. It doesn't feel good. I don't like where I'm at. I know unconsciously, the only way for me to get to closer to where I want to be is for whatever is holding me back to die, right? And that is a death. It's a rebirth. It's part of the cycle. I think a lot of people are scared of death, but we go through those things often. Pieces of ourselves have to die off in order for new things to be born. So I think that a lot of people are in that spot mentally where you may say a word, you know, I want to die, I don't want to be here, but think about what it actually means.
It's a heavy thing to think about. Like, yeah, and ironically, I think first of all, this is my thing. Be fucking careful with your words. You don't have no idea how much power your words really have over your life. Stop saying stuff like you want to die, right? If death crosses your mind, think about why, right? Like there's got to be a reason. Something probably does have to die, right? But you don't want to die most times. You can't live the same way anymore. That makes sense, right? And again, maybe your ego's holding you back. Me and Amy are reading the Goggins book, and I know she is having trouble getting through this thing because Goggins is straightforward. Yeah. Like, viscerally so. Straightforward. If you are not prepared, it is, and it's so funny. Like, I probably introduced this book to 8 people. Half and half, 4 black, 4 white, right? This is what makes it really interesting. Whenever I reach people who come from abundance and mindsets of abundance, David Goggins throws them off, right? They're like, he's so visceral, it's kind of gross, but like motherfuckers like me who got out of the mud, I love it. Like I love reading about man, I ran an ultra marathon, I didn't prepare for it, and I had kidney failure, blah, 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 blah. Like he's talking about all he's endured, right? And I'm just like, it makes me wonder what the human mind is capable of. And that goes back to what you were talking about. Like your mind can play tricks on you, telling you that there's no way to turn the thing around. But that same mind that tricks you is the same mind that you can use to trick yourself into change, right? Like I really remember this. I remember going to the gym and just being like, I'm gonna just put my stuff in my bag. And I've had moments like, and this makes me laugh now, but I'd have moments where I would just look at the bag and I'd just be like, if I pick this up, then I gotta go to the gym. Right? Like all I gotta do is pick the bag up. And it would be everything go through your head. You know, for me, this was for me. People who told me I wasn't gonna be nothing. Places that told me that a high school dropout could never amount to much. People who told me that starting a family this early would mean that I would be another statistic. Like all that stuff would play in my head and it would make me pick the bag up. I'm like, hell no, I can't be what that says keeps me here. I can't be that. But it was a switch. I had to hit that switch. So it went from making me feel negative to becoming fuel for positive change. Right? And I think that's what Coach Dev is leaning on in his statements. Again, death, something dying makes sense, not you unaliving yourself, right? It's not the unaliving of oneself. It's the dying to self, right? Walking in peace, learning to move in fortitude, learning to be persistent in the face of adversity. Like that stuff that's really what it takes. And I'm sorry if it hadn't been easy, but I'm gonna be honest, man, the greatest people fight the hardest battles. Like that's just what it is. You probably were called to something pretty big and it's just not gonna be easy. I know I deal with that all the damn time, right? And I don't think I'm that big of a dude. I think it's just one of those things where I'm doing something that most people won't. And hopefully, people I help, they do great things.
Facts. I like that you said tricking yourself into change, into positive change. I think that really is how it feels.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people
When you
are
start, oh yeah.
looking for to feel good, for it just to miraculously, now I feel better.
Right.
But it really is especially if you're already on a tip where you're not where you want to be, you
Right.
feel bad. It's a trick. Like, you have to consciously be like the opposite of that, so that you can get the opposite of where you're at. I just like that you said that. I do that with myself all the time. I play little experimental games.
Yeah.
Your non-negotiables are kind of like a little game, like
Fair.
a little trick of the mind. It's like, all right, well, regardless of anything that happens, it may be midnight, and I still gotta do this thing, because every day I gotta do this thing. And yeah, tricking your mind is the name of the game until you get what you want.
And I want to say, even in that, I actually would say that you continue to trick your mind. Like, I don't want to get up every morning. It was funny listening to Eli like a day ago. He was like, "Yeah, man, I only got 4 hours of sleep." I bust out laughing. He was like, I said, I have a 16-month-old at home, right? Like, sleep is a commodity in my house. We don't sleep like that, right? Like, but I'm still here, right? And I think it was jarring for him. It was a wake up call for him. Like, damn, he really do be here in spite of how he feel. And I hope that people see that. Like, I hope people see that, not because I want to be seen in those moments, but because people need to see those moments, right? You don't just show up when you feel good. Two of my favorite lifters, one of them cries every time he lifts. And it's because he has to tap into those moments, right? And pull something out deeper than his pain or what he's dealing with. And Goggins explains it as putting cookies in the cookie jar. So when you're ready for something sweet, you get to pull out a cookie. They're taking those things and using them as fuel for whatever you need to do. I am telling you, if you are looking for somebody will personified, that guy's it. Like, in so many different ways, it's insane. So that's why I'm like super enamored with the book. And again, I've read his stuff before, but this one has like challenges at the end and other stuff. Okay. So it was something like, I'm obsessed, bro. I keep reading it. Like, other people taking too long. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm reading this like a chapter every day, right? Making a space. There's certain things that resonate with you, and I hate to play this card, but also it's real. As a black man, my whole life has revolved around the difficulty of achieving what some people see as easy, right? My family was a bunch of fighters. I'm a lover, so I had to learn how to become a fighter. My family showed excellence on so many levels, and because I didn't want to follow that same path, I looked like a failure, right? And even when it came to kids, right? Like, I didn't want to have kids early. I ended up having a kid in my 20s, right? And the amount of people who told us we shouldn't get married, we're not going to work, we'll never be able to do things, we'll struggle to support our families for the rest of our lives, again, we'll be statistics, is insane. And most people don't think about that, but every time I come here, I'm telling you, it is on my mind to be my kid's superhero, right? Like my son will never see. Like, I remember, I'm going over time. There was this moment where my wife came to me. There's always pivotal moments. There's always these pivotal things. She came to me and she was like, we should get government assistance. And I remember God making me angry, angry. I was like, there's no way we will make it without that. I will never need that. I worked 3 jobs. She worked 2. We worked hard just to maintain a small apartment. You get what I'm saying? So when I see someone who wants to change and I see them do that, I see them showing up, there are some people in here are pushing to make this thing work. And those are the people that I'm like, oh, I got to give you everything I got. And that's why I show, they help me show up on those days. I show up for myself, but those people make my job worthwhile. You get what I'm saying? Because I didn't have that support.
Yeah.
And now I get to be that support. How many times have I asked me for money? I'm here. How many times have you, man, I wish I had. And I'm just like, yeah, all right, cool. I never could have done that if I'd have stayed in a sunken place. right? So that's where my mind goes. My mind goes to growing enough to help those around me have what they need. So it's easier for me to show up for others than for myself, but I gotta give to myself in order to show up for others.
That part.
They're tied.
That part.
Yeah.
Something I had to learn because I was trying to give to everyone in my life that I loved and wasn't doing a good job.
Yeah, you said it earlier.
Yeah.
Remember you were talking about somebody was here. They were supposed to be here for the program, but they was here for you, and you was like, well, then you're not really here for me at all.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. Again, people got to see themselves, man. And it's hard, and it's not easy, and it's uncomfortable, but luckily this community supports people in doing that.
Thanks.
Yes. Shoot, we got time.
Let's get out of here.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like it, share it with friends and family. I'm telling you, man, like we literally take the lessons we learned from all of you and put them here. So please come in. I'm waiting for John to come in and drop a jewel on us.
No facts.
So I can be like, you know what, John, I ain't see that way, and like
We about to have some guest speakers in here.
Oh yeah. You got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And this was good. The format of you like asking questions, because sometimes I am just like, I'm having a hard time today.
I wasn't lying when I said I got a backlog.
But focus helps me. Giving me something to focus on does help. So again, if you'd like to check us out, be part of our community, you can check us out at www.gettingitdaily.com, or you can reach out to us on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook as Getting It Daily. We would love to have you answer any questions you have, and seriously, this community is for anyone who wants to change with persistence. All right. Thank you so much. Until next time.
Deuce.
Peace.